I want to welcome you to Introduction to Educational Research. This video is over the initial part of this class, and basically we're going to go over the syllabus and the course requirements. As you can see at the top of the syllabus, which is available on WebCT also, there you have my email address, you have my office number and my home number, and also my office hours. However, of course, the purpose of having an online class is not to have to come to campus. So I want you to feel free to email me or call me. We also have the option of using another program called Elluminate that allows us to email each other, communicate with each other through the internet, so that you can see me, I can see you, we can look at the same materials at the same time. So that's a possibility also. You can see the goals of the course. The primary goal is to be able to read and understand research. In this course, you'll also write a mini literature review and to kind of begin thinking about your research investigation, what you want to do for your file paper. The lit review I'll get to a little bit later, but basically we kind of encourage you to think about something that you could use throughout the rest of your program. The course books, there is a book called Reading Statistics and Research. It says 5th edition on the syllabus. However, there's also some 4th editions around. If you can find a 4th edition, that's okay. There's only one chapter's difference between the two books, and I don't cover that chapter anyway, so you can find that. I also will be sending you some PDF files of things I want you to read, and there are also quite a few journal articles that we'll be using. Those will be available on WebCT, and those are used for assignments in class. The recommended resource is the APA manual. There is a 6th edition coming. We're going to stick with 5th edition because the availability is not all that great right now. So we'll stick with 5th edition APA. The reason it says recommended is because it is possible to get through this without actually buying the book. And I can explain to that a little bit later on in class about how to go about doing that. As far as the course assignments, there are no tests in this course. I think the best way to learn how to read research is to actually do it. So for every 2 or 3 chapters, I will give you an assignment that covers those chapters. You have to do some reading of research articles and answer some questions that would be related to looking for information for your lit review. And that's to kind of teach you how to read an article and find out what you need to know. The lit review, there's a rough draft that will be due November 16th, and the final lit review, the final draft of that is due November 30th. Those lit reviews, the mini ones, tend to be 10 to 12 pages long and have about 10 to 15 sources. As you can see in the course assignment descriptions, what all is involved in these. Those reading assignments are worth 25 points. The draft 1 mini lit review is worth 25 points, and the final draft is worth 55. And there's a rubric that will come with those also, so you can have some kind of idea what we'll be looking for. As far as the way that we're going to cover material in the class, we'll cover it by weeks. For example, the first night we're going to cover the introduction to the course and what is required, what the expectations are, and then on the right hand side for the syllabus you'll see what is expected for the next week. So for example, next week you need to read chapter 2 and 3 from the Huck book, and that means that next week we would cover descriptive statistics, bivariate correlations. I'll also talk a little bit about picking a research topic. So it kind of stair steps its way down. This part about the handouts has a reference to something that I will be emailing to you, and that has to do with this part that we'd cover in class 4 about finding information electronically, selecting topics, developing the first draft of lit review. So it stair steps its way down all the way through the entire semester. The qualitative designs, that is also something down here towards the end of the class that will come from PDF documents. There is not anything in your book about reading qualitative studies. As far as what is involved in this class, it is a little bit different than most other classes. A lot of people tend to find it a little bit of a difficult topic because the language in research is so much different than anything else. So I really encourage people to read the book, spend a lot of time looking at the book. For a lot of people, it's not something you can just read once and say, okay, that's it, I got it. You really kind of have to read it, listen to the lectures that we'll have online during this, email questions in, ask a lot of questions, and maybe even go back and read it again. It's very different material than what most people are ever used to. It's important to me that you ask questions throughout the course. I've never taught this class online in this format before, so I'm going to be flexible about trying to meet your needs, but you also may kind of need to be a little bit flexible too about adjusting the way that you learn so that you can get what you need to out of this course. That being said, if this course is not satisfying your needs, is not getting you what you need, it's important to me that you tell me that when that happens. Of course, you can wait until the semester is over with and mark the evaluations down, which is fine, but that really doesn't help you in your learning. You're not going to offend me if there's something not working for you the way that you need it to. I would expect you to tell me and be upfront with me about it. That's the only way that you're going to get what you need out of the course. Kind of the game plan for the course is to have some short videos like this that explain some of the material. You'll have some short assignments that we'll do in small groups. We'll use the chat room for those assignments, and then we'll have another video that kind of explains what the answers are to those assignments. So these videos will be short 9 to 10 minute videos that explain what you're doing. You'll be chatting to each other about what's involved in the assignments. As far as these assignments, you can see what the due dates are over here. For example, the first one is due September 8th. I'm okay with people working together on that, helping each other with it. That's absolutely fine with me. But your grade is your grade. So if you all work on the same thing, you all get the same answer. And for example, if you all get it wrong, it's wrong, and that's it. Everybody gets the same grade. If before you turn it in, somebody changes their mind and puts a different answer, what they put down is their answer, and their grade is their grade. So when you turn this in, even if you work together on it, you still have to turn in your own personal assignment. It is only your grade. That pretty much covers the introduction to this course. The next video that you'll have available to you has to do with the first 2 chapters of Huck. Thank you.